Hi everyone, welcome to another Aperture experience. My name is Scott Davenport. So today I wanted to talk about the Aperture brushes and specifically the Detect Edges option. Very useful, but I found with the photo here in front of us, it had some limitations. Learned a little bit of a trick to help really capture the edges you're after. And so I wanted to go through those here today. So what are we looking at here first? This is a cross on top of Mount Soledad in San Diego. Bit of a controversy and history behind this cross. If you're interested, check out Wikipedia. It's got all the details. But what I wanted to do here is make the cross pop off the screen a little more. This was early in the morning before sunrise, and you can see I've done quite a number of adjustments to get the tone and the feel of the image of how I felt up on the mountain there. Very little cold that day, very solemn, so dark tones here. But I do want this cross to to pop a little more. So use a basic dodge adjustment, and only on the cross where Detect Edges comes in. And as I worked through it, found a couple of quirks with the tool. So let's go through some of the things I discovered here, and then see if we can get this cross to stand up more. All right, so let's zoom in here, and we'll just pick a spot to work on. So normally when I apply these adjustments where I want the edge detected, I apply it kind of sloppy at first and then clean up by erasing. So let me bring out my dodge tool. I have a shortcut for that, and that's probably going to be okay. Grab the brush, I have the Detect Edges set, and start just slapping this in. You can see I'm already it's not detecting the edges here very well at all. My eyes can see it, but Aperture can't. So I desperately don't want to have this haloing effect. So let me grab the eraser and try and do the same thing. And it's cleaning up all right. Oops, let me bring that up all the way to erase everything. It's okay there. It's not so bad. It is starting to bleed into the cross a little bit, and I'd rather have that happen than have a halo. That one's too much. So here's tip number one. If I reduce the softness to 0, like a really hard-edged brush, I can avoid some of that haloing there. So it's better. It's still not perfect though. But it's helpful. It's again not great. So I wanted to understand, why was this happening, and really what's going on is the way the edges are detected is using the tonal range. So if we take a peek with the color picker here, you can see that right around the edge of the cross on the outside, hue is 227. On the inside, it's 227. I mean, so it's, Aperture is going to have a very difficult time picking out a difference on that edge. As I move across, it's very close and sometimes identical. It was even more pronounced down toward the base of the cross as well. So that makes a challenge. So there is a way we can have Aperture, or help Aperture make a better choice. So let's see if we can help Aperture make a better selection. So once again, I'll start off with a little bit of softness. Detect Edges is on, and I'll just Brenner brush this in, and you'll see that again I'm bleeding outside a little bit. Not as bad, because I'm being a little more careful. Certainly a little more on this side, but you notice things are jumping around a bit. Like right now, the plus in the center of my brush is on this lighter gray area, and so it's not coloring in the black area. As soon as I dip in there, you see that jump right there? What's happening is the brush is continually sampling what's at the center of the brush as its like a tonal reference. And so if I were to keep inside the gray areas a little more carefully, we can see this darker shadow lifting off the mouse right now. The darker shadow here got skipped when I was in this piece here, and it started to bleed in again as I got to an area that had a similar tone. And that same thing happens as I get to the edge, right? I'm staying well inside the gray, and actually getting a pretty good edge right there. But as soon as I were to pop outside into the blue, boom, that just happens straight away. So now that we have a better understanding of what the brush is doing, there's a simple trick to help us out with telling Aperture what to sample, and it's the Shift key. So let's erase this section over here. If I was going to erase, oops, let's make an erase, huh? Just erasing this, if I stay within the blue, I'll do really well. What I can do, now this area is more difficult, right? I want to start out in the blue, but I'm starting to bleed into the cross itself. So we shall before we'll lower the softness. But what I'll do this time is I'm going to press the Shift key down now. My entire cursor is out in the sky blue area, pressing Shift, and now I'll start my brush. And what that tells Aperture is the first place that I clicked, I want that to be my reference point for the sampling. I don't want it to continually sample. And so that gives us a better idea, or a better frame of reference. I'm going to try and dip into this corner. Again, I'm going to press Shift, smaller brush, clicking now, and just kind of touch in there. That looks like it's a pretty solid place there. Let's try without the... Actually, that curve is pretty good. I'll undo that one. Let's try this little edge here. There's a little bit of messiness. Again, pressing Shift, clear that down, and that's a nice sharp edge there. So I can now do this around the whole of the cross. Done that technique with the holding Shift down and erasing on the outer edges for most of the cross, and that's looking nice and sharp. I did want to show you at the bottom of the cross, the base here. There's an area where basically all these tips and tricks fail us. It's just because the tonal range between one side of the edge and the other is just too close. So I'm going to open my softness up a little bit and let me erase what I've painted in here. Again, detect edges is on. I'm trying my very best, but you can see, that's bleeding in. Let me undo that. I will try again now, holding Shift down. Let me get a hard edge brush, holding Shift down, and seeing what I can do here. It's better, but not perfect. And you know what? I'll take that. I'd rather to go and have a little less dodging on the inside of the cross than having it on the sky where I'll have that horrible looking halo effect. It would just look like a bad HDR or something like that. The last thing I wanted to show with the brush too is where this can really be handy is for a situation like this. We've got all these little bits at the base of the cross. I'd like to apply the same dodge to at 0.73. Oh wow, one click. And with detect edges on, knowing what I know now about how to force the sample to stay at the same tonal range, I'll get my plus right in a section like that, holding down the Shift key, click, and now I can paint right through here really quickly and get just about everything I want without worrying about suddenly hitting those black edges, the metal iron bars there. And that's much quicker than trying to paint in each area or even doing a large brush and click, move, and so forth, and then painting and filling in the rest. Still have a little cleanup to do, but that was much more effective and rapid than having to click every single area. And it's really small here. I'll even try Shift clicking out there to erase. That worked pretty nicely. I'll do the same thing here. Just be a little aware of my edging there. Have to, at some point, you just have to be pretty careful with your brush. All right, that's not looking so bad. Let's take a peek at it. Maybe shave that off just a little bit. Again, erring on the side of caution of being inside and not outside of the cross. Be same thing down here. Sample, and just shave that in there. That should be fine. Let me zoom back out. Press A for that to load, and looks pretty all right. Let's take a quick before and after look without the dodge, with the dodge. Yeah, I might tone that down a little bit. And I may even go back and remove some of the dodging from these shadowy areas to really give a little more contrast. But that's the basics of it. So detect edges is very powerful, very useful, and you can give it a little bit of help by using the Shift key to force what the tone sample is going to be, and for erasing at edges, I find a hard-edged brush to work really well. I hope that this was useful for you. So thanks again for stopping by, and hope to see you soon next time.